All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Dynasty Rewind YouTube channel. Please apologize for my voice. It's still allergy season out here in Eastern PA. Hold on. I was watching this on my phone as well. Got some echo going on. I'm your host, Michael Bauer, joined today by my faithful co-host, Nate Christian. Nate, hello, and welcome to the Sunday live stream.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to spend my Sunday morning with you, Mike. Usually it's my Tuesday evening, but more than happy to spend my Sunday morning with you.
Speaking of Tuesday evening, I will be getting the show sheet prepped today. My apologies. It's been a hectic week around here. But let's talk about why we're here today. So, look, the fact of the matter is, I wish it was under better circumstances. Okay, good friend of mine. His name is Aaron. He has a wife, and unfortunately, she has cancer. And unfortunately, it's again. It's to the point now where it seems like none of the doctors in the United States can do anything for her. She has to go to Germany for an experimental procedure. And the reality of the situation is, it is not covered by insurance. It is a lot of money. So we do have the GoFundMe linked in the comments there, and I just want to show you guys. This is the GoFundMe right now. So you see, there's a goal there. The goal is set at $30,000. Realistically, out of pocket, this could cost the Arms family up to $60,000 to $70,000 for lodging, for travel, and then obviously the treatments themselves, which are not covered by insurance, like I said. Any super chats that you guys contribute today, we will be taking that money. We will not be keeping that. We will be donating that to the GoFundMe on top of the donation we'll be making as well. The show is going to make a donation. I myself am going to personally make a donation. Excuse me. And so I'll be doing that after the show. In case you're wondering why I'm waiting, it's because I want to see what the super chats we get, and then we're just going to tack that onto our monetary donation as well. So as somebody that just recently lost his mother, I don't want to see these children lose their mothers too, their mother as well. So if you can, please contribute. And if not, just share this along with people. That will help as well, get more eyes on it. And then, so that's where we're at. So like I said, I wish this was under better circumstances. Let's bring the fantasy community together to help out someone. And look, the fact of the matter is, her husband, Aaron, he was one of the people, that was my favorite podcast, the Back Row Fantasy Show. That went away due to COVID. They used to all get together, and then it was obviously they couldn't do that. So the podcast kind of disbanded there. But that podcast is the reason that this one exists, because their host, Jeremy Barker, was the guy that helped me figure out all this audio stuff. So aside of my voice being shot right now, I like to think we have pretty good audio going on. So yeah, that's why we're here. But we're here to answer your questions. So until we have questions in the chat, which again, super chats always get first priority. Super chats will be going to the GoFundMe as well. And then the link I'm going to put this on our RSS feed as well with the GoFundMe link on there. So you can always listen back. If you can't catch the whole thing, the GoFundMe link will be in there as well. So, but Nate, until we get some questions, I think you wanted to talk about taxi strategy a little bit.
Yeah. I figured, we bring someone to the table here, and hey, a lot of people have already started their rookie drafts. I know I've already done a couple myself. I still have a couple more to go. I like that I have them spread out among like the first couple months post draft. I don't want all of my drafts, the week of post draft, because then, that's really exciting. But then what am I having to look forward to the rest of the summer,
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm in like 14 leagues. So, I have like 4 or 5 in May, 4 or 5 in June. It kind of works itself out. But taxi strategy, you maybe have finished your rookie draft already. So what do? You got your taxi slots, are they full already? You got some 4th, 5th round picks in there. You might have an extra spot or two, maybe some UDFAs after the drafts. Personally for me, Mike, I don't like to put running backs on the taxi squad.
Yes and no. It depends.
We've seen them just become fantasy relevant way too often, too quick. And I'm not saying like some guy you're putting on the taxi squad is going to become, a top RB 20, top 24 running back for you. But it's going to be like week 9. And for some reason, the starter is injured and the backup got hurt as well. And all of a sudden, you got someone like Phil Maffa playing meaningful snaps for the Cowboys, halfway through the season or something like that.
You think he's going to be? I mean, it's possible if Miles Sanders sucks that bad and Javonte Williams gets hurt.
And Jaden Blue, I don't know.
I actually like the Jaden Blue landing spot to Dallas. By the way, I think there's going to be some real opportunity for him there.
I like Jaden Blue a lot. I don't want to say he's like one of my favorite sleepers, but he kind of is. I really like that landing spot and the opportunity that he could gain there because he's the most explosive of any of the running backs there. None of them even come close to the explosivity of Jaden Blue. So he really could carve out a role there for himself. But, Mike, I like to put the running backs in the taxi squad because I might need to call them up halfway through the season, and I don't want to lose that taxi squad slot too early. I want to keep those guys only for 2 years if possible, honestly. So I like to put tight ends there. Tight ends, that usually, unless they're really, really good, they don't break out their first year. Sometimes they don't break out their second year. I like to put tight ends in the taxi squad. I like to put late round quarterbacks. If I'm going to go after a Will Howard, actually, maybe this year, Will Howard, maybe I don't put him in the taxi squad depending on what his preseason looks like. He might be starting for the Steelers. Who knows? But like even this year, maybe Shedeur Sanders, maybe you put him on the taxi squad, see what happens. But then again, you might be pulling him up halfway through the season. So I like the tight ends there. Sometimes I like the late round quarterbacks. If you're a Curtis Rourke fan, though, hey, Brock Purdy just got paid, so not much going there unless he gets hurt.
$53 million a year.
That's a lot of money for Mr. Irrelevant there.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest pay raise ever in NFL history,
yeah.
I would say. But definitely like the tight ends, like the late round quarterbacks, who might be sitting for a year or two. And then wide receivers, if you got some guys who also, are behind some veterans who maybe are coming up on the free agency next year or getting a little bit older, those are the guys also I like to put on there. Maybe a guy like Ty Felton, if you picked up a guy like Ty Felton, even Xavier Restrepo, someone I would be looking at to put on the taxi squad, Dante Thornton, Keandre Lambert-Smith, some of those guys, I'll put them on the taxi squad, see if maybe they can, show some flashes this year. I'm probably not pulling them up like I would pull up a running back halfway through the season. I probably have enough wide receiver depth where even if they do get some meaningful snaps near the end of the season, I'm not needing to put them in my starting lineup, hopefully. So I can keep them on my taxi squad, reassess halfway through the next preseason.
Yeah, one thing about taxi squad too, you could have a guy in there just chilling on your taxi squad. He pops off. All of a sudden, that taxi squad player is either a starter for you or a starter on someone else's team, and you maximize for a player that you want on your team or some draft capital too. So I like to put tight ends on the taxi squad, to be honest with you. Sometimes they take a while to pop off. It's nice to stash some tight ends, and you're not, if you have to stream a tight end for a few weeks for whatever reason, you have a decent guy in there. It's not a problem. Nate, we have a super chat, though. We can get back to some taxi squad stuff in a minute. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This is from our friend Waffle Hauser with a $50 super chat. Waffle Hauser, thank you. The Arms family will appreciate this. We're going to definitely pay this forward. Waffle Hauser is a member of our Patreon, patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind. He's in our Discord. He's in a league with us as well. Maybe more than one. I don't know. I can't keep track of it.
At least one. I think I might have a couple of leagues from Waffle.
Yeah, I don't know. Waffle Hauser, sorry. I can't remember everyone that's in my one thing I hate is when you get a DM sent you a trade. Got to tell me the league. I'm not just in one. And I'm not saying that Waffle Hauser is guilty of that. I'm just saying in general. You know what I mean? And someone one time was like, hey, I sent you a trade. Which league? The one we're in. Gonna need you to be more specific, pal. Okay? But he needs 5 minutes of Matthew Golden positivity. He's also praying for the family. Lost his mom at 17 to change his soul. Dude, I get it. I lost my mom in March, and every day I look at my phone and I'm like, oh, maybe my mom texts me, or I'm going to text her this, or she'd like this, or I'm going to give her a call. It sucks. And I mean, Lani is 37. So yeah, but he needs 5 minutes of Matthew Golden positivity. Nate, who's Matthew Golden out of Texas by way of Houston. First round pick of the Green Bay Packers. Draft was in Green Bay. Their first round wide receiver since 2002, I believe.
Yeah, 2002.
I think there's a lot of reasons to be positive. I think he's going to be on the field first snap, week 1.
Yep.
And good news for the Packers. They don't start in Brazil this year like they had to last year, just like my Eagles had to. We could talk about what we think about these international games in a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
I have some thoughts on that, by the way. I would actually like to get into it. I don't think it makes good podcast talk, but I think it's good live stream talk so people could chime in as well. But give me some Matthew Golden positivity, Nate, and then I'll chime in as well.
All right. Can look at this a couple different ways. Number one, we'll start off with, hey, Matthew Golden's got a good quarterback. Now, Jordan Love was quarterback 17 last year, so not quite the great season that maybe we were expecting of him. But the year before that, we did have him finish as the quarterback 5. He threw for 4,100 yards in 2023. 2024, he missed 2 games, ended up throwing for 3,389 yards, 25 touchdowns versus 32 touchdowns in 23. So you got a guy that can throw 30 plus touchdowns. Not every single team has that. Got a guy who can throw for 4,000 yards. Not every team has that. In fact, the Chicago Bears have never had anyone throw for 4,000 yards. I love bringing that fact up.
Which still amazes me when you had Jay Cutler there.
Yeah, I mean, I would have expected Jay Cutler to throw 4,000 yards, but remember, those were different times. We didn't pass the ball nearly as much as we do now.
True.
So as much as I liked me some Jay Cutler. So you got Jordan Love, who can support some fantasy relevant wide receivers and tight ends, not just one, but can support multiple with how his production has been. All right. And then you got Matthew Golden, who is a first round wide receiver, obviously ran really, really well, 4.29 at the 40 at the NFL Combine. And he's a first round pick for the Packers. He goes into a competitive wide receiver room, but his biggest competition over there is Jaden Reed, and I would say Romeo Doubs. Christian Watson is injured, not playing very much. Dontavian Wicks, we know, can't catch the ball despite getting open. And after that, you got some guys who we all like to talk about, but aren't really NFL starters. So got a starting 3 of Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, and Romeo Doubs. Now, I might think that Jaden Reed is still the wide receiver 1 there. I don't know. It might be a 1A, 1B now with Matthew Golden with his first round draft capital. But good news for Matthew Golden is last year at Texas, he played 76% of his snaps out wide. And last year for the Packers, Jaden Reed played 76% of his snaps in the slot. And Jaden Reed ended up having around a 70% snap rate because he is not out there in 2 wide receiver sets very often. Matthew Golden will be. So Matthew Golden might out-snap Jaden Reed. That's a very realistic possibility. I don't know if it equals more fantasy points than Jaden Reed, but he's likely to have more snaps than him, be on the field just as often, if not more. And I think with that, we'll have pretty equal opportunity to Jaden Reed. I think Romeo Doubs is probably the real loser here, where he's going to probably fall to wide receiver 3 in the pecking order. But I can't even really say that because Jordan Love out there in like the videos where he's making up his dream team, 4th and 2, got to score the ball, last minute to win the Super Bowl. He's putting Romeo Doubs out there with like Devontae Adams and Mike Evans. Like he's picking Doubs as one of his favorite wide receivers to throw to. So, there is definitely a lot of target competition there. Didn't even mention Tucker Kraft, who's, played very well last year. But I think Matthew Golden's going to be out there a lot. Jordan Love's got a big arm. There's going to be opportunities for him. I don't think he's necessarily a top 24 wide receiver his rookie year, but I think he could be a top 40 guy and someone that you're getting pretty excited about.
I'm excited. And it's one of those things where you also have to stem your excitement a little bit because of the crowded wide receiver room. Mm-hmm. I was looking up Christian Watson's knee injury update. Matt LaFleur said he's happy with the progress so far. Christian Watson himself is saying recovery's going really well. I'm in a really, really good spot. I got a couple more months ahead of me, but I'm attacking it every day. I'm in a really good spot. And, right now it sounds like Christian Watson's father is targeting a week 12 return. But the fact of the matter is, by that time, I'm not saying that he could be irrelevant in the Green Bay offense, but, Matthew Golden's going to have almost a full season. Yeah. Jaden Reed, Doubs, Wicks, whoever. I don't think Bo Melton's there anymore, but we got Tucker Kraft, we got Luke Musgrave there. There's a lot of targets that are going to be going around for the Green Bay Packers, and Jordan Love spreads the ball around. The fact of the matter is Jordan Love spreads the ball around because he has to. He hasn't had that one wide receiver that he could rely on in every situation. I think Matthew Golden has a real potential here to make that be him. The fact of the matter is, too, Christian Watson is on the last year of his rookie contract. At this point, with them drafting Matthew Golden in the first round, I don't anticipate him being a Packer beyond this season. No. He's, the Packers, he's availability is the best ability, right? And he hasn't always been available. He played in a career high, I believe, 15 games last season. So, when you got a 17-game season and your career high is 15, not looking great. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things. And Waffle House are also chiming in. Do we think he is good? Analytics has him worried. Got him at 2.3. Got him at 2.3 in a draft.
That's
I
a
mean,
steal.
that's a steal. I think he's good. I don't.
You got all upside there at that point. If you're getting
He's-
with an early second round pick, it's all upside from there.
I mean, I think he's better than good. To be honest with you, I think he's a fantastic player. It's just what's it going to look like? And you said Jordan Love was quarterback 17 last year, a little bit of the sophomore regression, as you call it, because that was his second year as a starter. We saw the same thing with CJ Stroud. NFL teams, they get more film on you, and of course they have more time to adjust. I think he's going to be in for a big year 3, to be honest with you. And getting Matthew Golden at the 2.3 is fantastic. I love that draft capital. And Ian's Playhouse here saying Golden was taken at 109 in my draft that's currently going on. So who's the 4th wide receiver taken. I mean, when you look at the other wide receivers, we got Tet McMillan, who I think has fantastic opportunity out there in Carolina. We got Travis Hunter, who's going to have a lot of opportunity in Jacksonville. And then I'm missing someone here, Nate, who would go before him as well.
Maybe Egbuka.
Emeka Egbuka. I mean, I think Golden's going to have a better opportunity for targets year 1 than Egbuka right off the rip.
Luther Burden.
Luther Burden, yeah. Another Matthew Golden, another opportunity to have more targets than Burden as well. And James is saying, believe Golden was one of the best wide receivers in the class. He'll be the X receiver replacing Watson. Watson's contract runs out after the season. Yeah, like I just said. So absolutely.
So I think Dubs is playing the X though. But I'm not sure.
I could look it up on our lads if you'd like.
I think they just have it as left and right wide receiver. I don't think they have it as X and Z.
I guess we're going to find out, aren't we?
But Matthew Golden, he played really, really well at Houston before he transferred to Texas. And I know it was a slow start this past season for him. Didn't have a game over 100 yards through the regular season. Like the entire regular season didn't have a single game over 100 yards. So there's some worry there. But when they needed him against Georgia in the conference championship, 162 yards. Against Arizona State in a huge game in the playoffs, 149 yards. I mean, he stepped up when they needed him. So, we watched the film, Mike. We love the film, the body control, the ball tracking ability, the route running to go with the speed. He's very impressive. So, really good production while he was at Houston. I mean, maybe it wasn't the best production, but it came out his freshman year, 584 yards, 7 touchdowns, a little bit of regression his sophomore year, 419 yards, 6 touchdowns. Houston didn't play as well, but I like him. I don't know if he's going to maybe hit all the highs that some people are expecting of him now that he got first round draft capital. He was a late riser, but I do think Matthew Golden is a very good wide receiver, and at the 203 is a great value.
Let's look at the Packers depth chart here. Your 3 starters. Left wide receiver, you're right. They don't quantify X, Y, or Z as Romeo Doubs, then Matthew Golden at right, Jaden Reed in the slot. My only concern with Matthew Golden, wearing number 22, pretty gross.
Terrible.
Look, I know the new numbering system is what it is. Just 22 for a wideout. To me, it's like, come on.
That might be one of my few boomer takes is I don't like the new numbering system. I would much rather have the numbers go back to these specific position groups.
Do you have another?
I don't like seeing wide receivers with 20s. I don't even like seeing wide receivers with single digits. Give me the 80s.
You want another boomer take that I don't want to scan a QR code. Hand me a menu. I don't want to use my phone to order my food. I'm sorry. And I want to check at the end. I will give you my debit card and we'll square up that way. The second tier of Packers wide receivers, we've got Savion Williams. Christian Watson's been downgraded. Obviously, he's most likely he could miss the whole season. Then we got Dontavian Wicks. And then after that, we have your question marks to make the roster. We got Malik Heath, Julian Hicks, Mecole Hardman is there as well. And then tier 4, we got Cornelius Johnson and Bo Melton still hanging around.
Bo Melton, man.
Yeah, I was wrong. And then tight ends, you got Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave. So we got 2 pretty good wide receivers. And look, they got some running backs that can catch the ball too. We got Josh Jacobs and Marshawn Lloyd. That's all you need to worry about after that. And then Waffle Hauser again.
Yeah, Emmanuel Wilson played pretty well last year.
Sure. Chiming in with another super chat. Thank you. The Arms family appreciates that. Move Chase, Olave, and Connor/Benson for Lamb, Wilson, and Watson. Which became in the 2 or 3. What do you think about this? I mean, look, I hate moving Jamar Chase, but I get moving on from Chris Olave. Apparently, also teams have been calling the Saints about Chris
Really?
Olave, which is interesting.
If I was the Saints, I would probably be trying to move Chris Olave because you're not doing anything this year.
No,
Anyone who's a Tyler Chuck believer, sorry, he is nothing more than a bridge quarterback. Probably won't even play it all the whole year.
not Watson for Matthew Golden, which was the 203 that he turned
That's what
into
I
Matthew
figured.
Golden.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
So if I was the Saints, yeah, I'd be shopping to Olave too. I mean, between the concussion issues and the fact that you just need to totally rebuild,
Yeah,
I'd probably do that as well. But as far as this trade, Chase for Lamb, I would lean Chase, of course, but this is really close. So, I think Chase and Lamb for Olave and Wilson, I love that because you're upgrading from Olave to Wilson, which I think is a larger upgrade. And then moving Connor Benson for Matthew Golden. If it was just the 203, I'd be like, I don't feel like I got a lot there for Connor Benson for the Cardinals backfield. But when I find out the 203 is Matthew Golden, I'm pretty happy with that. So
yeah.
I like your side of the trade here, Waffle. I really do.
Yeah, and I mean the fact of the matter is, hate moving Jamar Chase. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's fantastic. George Pickens being there doesn't really scare me that much.
Probably helps him if anything.
Especially when you consider CeeDee Lamb plays out of the slot a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is smart. Put your best wide receiver, your biggest guy in the slot, let him, and hopefully for the Cowboys and for our fantasy teams, Dak plays the whole season.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb's going to look better with Dak back there than Cooper Rush is gone, but then I guess it goes
Baltimore Raven now. Cooper Rush.
He is. I
Yeah.
guess it goes to Trey Lance. Is their backup in
I don't think
Dallas?
so. He's a free agent, I'm pretty sure.
I don't even know.
You got our lads up, right? Look it up.
Yeah, well, I have to X out of this.
Our lads Cowboys. Wait, it came up on Google. Apparently, people love looking at the depth chart over there. Joe Milton
is the backup.
Who needs Trey Lance when you got Joe Milton?
And then Will Greer, former Eagle, was for an offseason.
Former Panther.
James is saying that Lance is with the Chargers now. Prayers up to the Chargers organization. And Ian is saying the human cannon, Joe Milton. Look, Joe Milton's got a Bazooka Joe, we could call him. How's that sound?
Bazooka Joe.
Yeah, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Mike, it's always fun when we get around NFL draft time or even the preseason, and we see people freaking out over guys like Joe Milton. And then us who've watched college football, we're like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
I agree. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is with Dak Prescott's injury history as of late, Joe Milton might get a chance to play meaningful snaps. He wasn't going to get that in New England. We know that Drake May is the quarterback of the future in New England. It's not Joe Milton. So I think it's a good move for him. Well, he was traded, but
whatever. I mean, he played well when he got snaps somehow.
He did.
I'll give that to him, man. Hey, and he's got all the potential in the world. I mean, he's big, huge arm. I mean, he's everything you want. You just gotta make sure he makes the right decisions and can read a field.
Man, the freaking Cowboys have a pretty gross depth chart though for wide receivers. I did think I saw a report that Jerry Jones stepped down as general manager.
Really?
Yeah. It could have been bogus, but if that's the case, good for the Cowboys. Like, their last few off seasons just not have been anything great. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think that actually happened. I think it was a rumor.
It was okay. One of those deals. Yeah. So yeah, good trade, Waffle Hauser. We like Matthew Golden. I think the opportunity is going to be there for sure. 110%. Nate, before we get back to talking about Taxi Squad stuff, do you want to look at the international games so I can bitch about them?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
As I like to do. All right. Here's your international games for the season. So we know week 1, the Thursday night game, that'll be in America. That's Eagles versus Cowboys. So I'm going to bash on the Cowboys a little bit. Let me actually take this down so you can see it. So hide. Okay, there we go. Thank you again, Waffle Hauser. You are the man.
Man.
Do we have we had another one come in here? Oh, we got another one
Waffle,
here.
Man.
All right, he's saying, all right, got to run, raise that money. Think you could save 5 minutes of Anthony Richardson hype?
No.
You know what? I'm going to have to refund this $19.99 if I have to talk about it. Look, the fact of the matter is, I will say this before we get to the international games. He has to make the most of his opportunity this year. He just has to. He needs to stay healthy. He needs to hit the playbook hard. And he needs to just focus on his game and just be better and stay on the field. They have a great offense. They got Jonathan Taylor. You got Shane Steichen as de facto offensive coordinator and head coach, a guy who can scheme anybody to play well. We saw what he did with Jalen Hurts. You've got Michael Pittman Jr., you've got Alec Pierce, A.D. Mitchell's out there, just drafted Tyler Warren. There are some players on offense. Stop focusing on making every big play and make the smart play. Keep the chains moving. He has the athleticism. He has the arm talent. Just hone in. This year is his last shot as a starting quarterback for the Colts, I'd say at least.
Yeah.
You know, I'm probably not buying him anywhere to get on my roster at this point, to be honest with you. But I am curiously following along.
Yeah, Mike. Well, look at the international games right here. Okay, well, the Colts actually have an international game this year.
They do.
Sunday, November 9th against the Falcons in Berlin. That is week 10. Is Anthony Richardson starting for the Colts in Germany?
If he's healthy, yes. I think so. Because Daniel Jones is not the insurance policy that I think people think it could be.
I don't think he's an insurance policy. I think it's a legitimate competition over there.
I don't know how it can be. How can it be, Nate? That's the thing. What about Daniel Jones makes you say he's here to steal Anthony Richardson's job?
Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, all these quarterbacks now getting second chances. I've never been a Daniel Jones believer.
I would say the difference between Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones is that prior to Baker Mayfield going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he had success.
Yeah, but then he bounced between the Rams and the Panthers, and I mean, he was still decent, but you know, it looked pretty low there for a little bit.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's a different situation than Daniel Jones. I'd say Baker Mayfield with the Browns was better than Daniel Jones really ever was with the Giants. I think the Browns kind of just really mismanaged that, which sounds pretty much like the Browns. But I don't know. You know, if it was me, I would have handled this very differently. I don't think they handled it really well last year. To be fair, Anthony Richardson didn't handle it very well either when he kind of quit on the team. It was like, yeah, I'm going to take this play off. Like they had to obviously address that, you know, and they did internally, but I think they kind of made a mess of it externally with the whole, oh yeah, like, you know, we're not going to say why we're benching him. You know, this is our developmental project guy. We haven't really even played him. You know, it's kind of been a mess this entire process so far. So ideally, you do just give him the whole season and you figure out, hey, you know, either we're going to suck or we're going to have flashes. But you know how the NFL is. You know, they might get to week 9 and be like, you know what, we want to try to win some games. We're, you know, 4-5 right now, and you know, Anthony Richardson hasn't looked good, and there's a chance we can sneak into a wild card spot, or maybe our division sucks because sometimes it does, and maybe they put Daniel Jones in. I think it's a strong possibility, though. I think they should stick with Anthony Richardson and see what they have, because, like you said, this is his last chance for them. I think
so, yeah.
But which is crazy. He's only 3 years in. He's got 2 more years on his deal with the 5th-year option. But if they're picking top 5, top 10, they're probably looking at quarterback.
Well, that's why it's an option for a reason, is all I guess.
Yeah, they don't have to take it. So
let's look at these international games, though, so you can hear me bitch about it. Week 1, not the season opener. Season opener is always Thursday night. We know that. Which, by the way, a little boomer take here. I liked when Thursday night games started on Thanksgiving and then ran till like the last week of the season. Bring that back. I don't need Thursday night games every week, because there's an Eagles-Giants game on Thursday night this year, and I'm like, don't make me stay up late for that crap. You know what I mean? Just stop it. Anyway, so we're kicking off our international game schedule week 1. We've got the Chiefs and the Chargers. I'm actually pretty interested in this game, to be honest with you. It's going to be on at 8 o'clock, so I'll be watching. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Rashee Rice may be back. What do you think about this one? I will tell you this. You talk about player safety. You're flying these large people down to Brazil and across the pond there. I believe in 2026, they're going to Australia. Make sure the field's right. Make sure the field is up to NFL standards. After the Eagles and Packers played in Sao Paulo, I don't know, how do we say it? Brazil, whatever. I don't speak Portuguese. Sorry. A lot of guys were talking about the field conditions. So if you want these NFL teams there, you have to make sure the field is up to snuff. But I think it's a good one to start off the international series for the year.
No, I don't like the international series. Like, why are we taking our game internationally?
I don't know. This is
Marketing? Like,
the
I care
one.
about marketing as a fan. No, I don't.
I don't
I
know.
I,
Slayer
I
Stacker
want to
needs
know,
to donate.
do teams change their season ticket pricing? Like, these teams that are losing a home game, are they making the season tickets cheaper? I would suspect that they're probably not. So, like, what is this doing for me as a fan? They're taking my sport into a different country where it's at weird time, which I will say though, I do enjoy waking up to football on Sunday morning and just having football all day Sunday. It makes for some really good weekends, especially when you throw in college football and you get like a Friday college game with a bunch of games on Saturday, then you just go right into Sunday and it's football all day. I mean, that's a pretty great feeling. But we got these games. We're going to Germany, Spain, Dublin. Dublin also has the first college football game of the season, Kansas State versus Iowa State in Dublin, Ireland.
Ooh.
How random is that? Kansas State versus Iowa State, a bunch of Midwest players and schools going to Dublin, Ireland. Make it make sense for me, Mike.
Well, the one year Penn State started against, I forget who it was, in Ireland, and I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, well, James Franklin's part Irish. I'm like, I thought he was.
Like, it made sense when they did it with like Notre Dame. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
like
cool. That
you
was
told me,
fun. That was a
you told
fun
me
one
James
thing.
Franklin was black. Is he black? Is he white? Is he Irish? What is he? Come on.
Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? You know,
I don't know. And look, I understand the popularity of American football in the NFL is bigger than it's ever been, and we have Roger Goodell to thank for that. But at the same point in time, it is taking away from this is the National Football League, not the International Football League. I think you need to make it better for the people at home, and I think player safety needs to be a bigger priority. Still, that being said, it's going to be a good one. Week 1, everyone's going to be healthy. John Harbaugh, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. We got who else? Justin Herbert down there. Chargers, an up and coming team. Najee Harris, Omari and Hampton. It's going to be interesting. But let's talk about I commented, you tweeted the schedule out, and I commented that the Vikings got screwed. Boy, did they ever. They're going to be playing in Dublin, like you'd mentioned before. The other teams playing there. They're playing against the Steelers on the 28th, and then the next week they have to go to London. So they're going to be overseas for a couple weeks here. They're only going from Dublin to London. I don't know what
yeah,
the distance there is. I
that's
know
like me going to Philly. It's nothing. Like they could, I mean, they can't train because it's across the water, but like it's like
yeah,
an
it's
hour
still
flight.
it's
Like it's
still
nothing.
travel, and so the Vikings, like, I don't like this.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
like
I
it.
actually kind of like it. If you're going to go over there, at least get 2 weeks out of it. You know, I think it
I
sucks when you
guess.
go over there for 1 week.
I guess. I don't know. But let's talk about Vikings Steelers. We got JJ McCarthy against Mason Rudolph, I guess.
Uh, what week is that? September 28th. So it's like week
4.
4, probably something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's probably still Mason Rudolph. Will Howard probably. I don't think Will Howard starts the season with the starting job, but I think there's a good chance Will Howard has it by the end of the season. At
It's a
least, at least
possibility.
a chance to have this. I don't think he's going to like walk in there by the end of the season and be like the hey, this is the new face of our franchise. But I think
He's a taxi
he'll have
stash for
opportunities to
sure.
start. Yeah,
What do
for
you think?
sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. He's currently the backup right now to Mason Rudolph. We got in Pittsburgh, you got Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson. So um, it's hard to believe that at this point, the New York Giants have a better quarterback room than the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they do.
They got a lot of good quarterbacks up there in New York. I mean, I don't know if they have any great ones, but they got a bunch of good ones, I guess.
The
I will say,
2020.
Ian makes a good point here. You know that the Vikings do play 2 games, but both count as an away game, so they don't lose a home game, which is
Okay.
nice.
Yeah. Still, someone else loses a home game. That's the problem I have is, whenever
Oh
you
yeah, I
go
don't like that
international,
for the NFL as a whole, but
yeah, someone's losing a home game. It's less chance that your fans get to see them. And when we're talking, there might be a Steelers or Browns fan, maybe, but these people are going to games just because it's new and exciting. You know what I mean? Like if Manchester United played in Philly, I'm not a Manchester United fan. I might just go because like, hey, I know they're one of the more popular teams in the UK. They're here. If I could afford tickets, I'll go for sure. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Um, but
I'm going to
also
see Manchester United this summer, actually. Then they're coming over. They're going to be up in New Jersey playing. I'm going to go see them with my brother.
oh, that's weird. I didn't get my invite to that. But anyway, I'm kidding. Well, Nate and I are going to a DC Defenders game May 30th,
Yeah, we
which
are
I'm excited about.
looking forward to that.
I am also dubbing the 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers as the Let's Get Mike Tomlin Fired tour. So we got the
I don't
Vikings
know if
and
I
the
want that or not. Mike Tomlin is a good coach, I will say, but I kind of like the fact that they're just like 9-8 every year, and they lose in the playoffs. I
yeah, they
mean,
haven't won
I don't know how much better they can do than Mike Tomlin right away. Like it might not be like, hey, you just upgrade from Mike Tomlin, so maybe that's better for me as a Ravens fan. But
It'll be Kevin Patullo as our next head coach because Eagles offensive coordinators just get hired for head coaching jobs now, and then Jalen Hurts gets a new offensive coordinator every
it'll
year.
be Arthur Smith. Can
Oh,
be elevated from OC to head coach.
oh God. And then the 2026 Steelers will be the We Hate Our Fans tour. But then we got the week after that, we got the Vikings and whoever's playing quarterback for the Browns at that point. I don't know.
See, like week 6 or 7, what's it, October 5th? Like, well, that's just week 5 then, I guess. So
Yeah.
probably still Joe Flacco.
I mean, we got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders. Technically, Deshaun Watson's still there. But he's as there as he's going to be. He's there in spirit. But hey, we get to see Aaron Jones against Quinshon Judkins, so that's fun.
The running back matchup.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what you're looking forward to.
So then week whatever, we got the Broncos and the Jets. All right, so we got Bo Nix and Justin Fields. Actually kind of like this one. I want to know, what are your thoughts on these early starts for the games? I kind of like it if in the sense of you're waking up, having your coffee, having a little breakfast, got the game on. I don't get to watch it on TV because my daughter's watching Gabby's Dollhouse or whatever. But a little coffee, got it on my phone, or I put on my computer upstairs. It's kind of cool. Just remember, set your lineups. That's where I run into a problem.
Yep. No, I agree. Like I was saying earlier, I love the early morning Sundays. Their start times at 9:30. Like I love waking up, making a pot of coffee, and watching football with my coffee. And then by the time that game finishes, there's usually about half an hour until the next game start at 1 o'clock. I usually throw on some English Premier League soccer, which kind of fits because we're already watching someone, over like in London or something like that. So then I just end up watching the end of a soccer game and then roll right into more football for the rest of the day. Like I said, I probably watch football on Saturday too, maybe even Friday night. So it's a great weekend when we have these NFL games on international schedule and with the early start times. I don't love them overall in a vacuum, but I do appreciate having some more football on my Sunday.
Also, just one thing I wanted to touch back about with the Vikings games. If you are a Vikings fan that lives in Minnesota, those games are starting at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, well,
and if
you're West Coast, it's even worse.
6:30 a.m. So
yeah, like Dynasty D down there said, it's a W for East Coast guys. I don't know about the rest of them though.
It is. Dynasty D, are you if you're a East Coast guy, you probably want these primetime games to start at 7:30. There's no reason at this point that primetime games cannot start at 7:30. I don't want to hear about whatever. Don't want to hear about it. People still tune in.
You know what I don't like? I don't like when they do the doubleheader Monday Night Football. Because a lot of times there's overlap. Why would if I'm the NFL and I have one of the best products on TV right now, why would I overlap my own product with another one of my own products? I'm just feeling, because like it's not like you only watch your team. Most football fans, even casual fans, will watch whatever football game is on. So why would you overlap two games? You're just stealing views from the other one. Doesn't make sense to me.
Dynasty D is a Yinzer, Pittsburgh born and raised. The 2 a.m. Steelers Blizzard game killed me. Hey man, next time I'm out in Pittsburgh visiting my cousin, I'll hit you up. Get together, grab beer or something like that.
Well, do you want Tomlin fired? That's a good question. Let's hear it.
Yeah, actually, let me know. Do you want Mike Tomlin fired if you are, in fact, a Steelers fan, or maybe if he was just watching that game, he's just an NFL fan in general?
I think he's got a little Steelers jersey on his profile picture there.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, let me know. Do you want Mike Tomlin fired? And if so, why? I mean, look, at the end of the day, he did win a Super Bowl with that team. Eagles fans wanted Andy Reid gone. Andy Reid went on to great success. And, it's one of those things where why Andy Reid do it in Kansas City, not in Philadelphia? He's given better players in Kansas City.
If Andy Reid had Howie.
So he technically did his last two of his last 3 years. Andy Reid's last year as head coach, he insisted on being the de facto general manager as well. But that was early Howie Roseman. So, he's learned a lot, and he's actually become an even better general manager since their first Super Bowl win, to be honest with you. The things that he's doing now, he wouldn't have done then, like extending Alshon Jeffrey, just signing Nigel Bradham to another contract. These are things like we saw the exodus from the Eagles this year, and it's like these guys are going to get paid a lot of money. They've done what we needed them to do here. Thank you. I paid guys like Saquon. Jalen Hurts made a lot of money. He's going to make more. They're going to have to extend a lot of guys on defense, so it's going to be interesting. So Dynasty D is saying, come to the Scott Fishbowl draft. I'll be drafting live. Yes, we've been mid since I was in high school, and we drafted Edmonds over Lamar. Okay. Well, when is the Scott Fishbowl draft for Pittsburgh? I am going to the Philly live draft. So that's July 20th. And he said, fire Tomlin just because I have a Fields jersey.
I was going to say, that number 1 jersey, he's probably a Fields guy.
Yeah, it's true. Let me know when that Pittsburgh draft is. If I can make it, I will. I would have to talk to my events coordinator, also known as my wife. But let's get back to this here. So I kind of like the Broncos Jets. That could actually end up being a good one. Both teams have been in the dumps lately. Bo Nix, lately until last year, Jets still are, but I think Justin Fields turns that around a little bit. Bo Nix, love what he's doing. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. And then the week after that, we got the Rams and the Jaguars, which could end up being a sneaky good game. I'm actually predicting the Rams to win the NFC West as of right now. I think they're the best team in that division.
Sure, yeah.
And I think the Jaguars are going to be better. They got Liam Cohen out there as head coach, good offensive coordinator for the Bucs last year. Got Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, got some running backs out there. You got Brian Thomas Jr. Don't know defensively what they look like. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Hey, your events coordinator spoke up in the comments.
Oh, did she? July 7th. Oh yeah, look at this. That's a Monday, I believe. Or July 7th, I believe. That's a Monday. Thanks, hon. Jenna, also, I could use some more coffee when you get a minute. So that would be fantastic, honey. Let's get back to it. I love how she just accepts the fact that I call her my events coordinator. The week after that, the Michael Penix versus potentially Anthony Richardson Bowl.
Yeah, this one does not get me excited. Poor Germany.
Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know if I care or not.
Yeah, I don't really care about either one of these teams, to be quite honest.
There's a little bit in there. Okay, hold on.
I think Michael Penix is very interesting this year because we saw a couple little things last year, but not enough to really know what we're going to get ourselves into this year. So,
yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins still on the roster, which kind of surprised me. I kind of anticipate him getting traded to like the Browns, but we've always seen quarterbacks get hurt in the preseason, still potentially gets moved. He'd be good.
Could go to the Saints still. Could go to the Saints, could go to the
Steelers. I mean, Dynasty D, tell me if you'd rather have Kirk Cousins over whoever you have on the roster right now. It's going to make your team more competitive. You're not going to win a playoff game. But yeah. And then this last one here could go either way. If it's in fact Jaden Daniels versus Tua, but we've seen his injury history lately. Kind of a weird matchup for an international game. Commanders Dolphins.
Yeah, but I like it. It could be explosive. This is one of those games, and I gotta get past the Commanders of old and think about the new Jaden Daniels Commanders, because thinking about the Commanders of the past decade or so, you're like, okay, this is like one of those throwaway games we're going to give Spain. But this game could actually be pretty high scoring, could be pretty exciting. It could also kind of suck. I think this is a high variance game.
Yeah, for sure.
And
All right, so
wait, do the Steelers not want the 101 next year?
I don't
They'd
know.
have they'd be able to get a quarterback for once since Big Ben.
My wife and Dynasty D are coordinating my trip to Pittsburgh in the comments here. It's it's Sunday, July 6th, Voodoo Brewery, noon. We are free that Sunday, but not Saturday, babe. Dynasty D, if you follow me on X or Twitter or whatever, drop me a DM at Rewind CEO. And if I don't follow you, I'll make sure I follow you back. Yeah, anyone but Aaron Rodgers. Mason Rudolph got Tennessee the 101. Well, thank you, sweetheart.
I couldn't kill you about this.
Okay.
I'd want the
My
101.
wife is making my daughter do her dirty work. Thank you, sweetie.
You're not going to get Arch Manning because I don't think Arch Manning is actually going to come out this coming year. But get a really good Garrett Nussmeier if he has a really good year. Cade Klubnik. Hey, Lenore Sellers, I'm pretty high on myself. So there's going to be a couple good quarterbacks next year, I think.
And my plans have been ruined. Yeah, I have to work the next day, hon. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Hey, Sean's got a question. Start 10 lineup. Wide receiver room is Lamb, London, Jan? Or is that supposed to be JSN? Maybe it's supposed to be JSN?
The S key is right next to the A key. So
yeah,
yes, probably.
Marvin Harrison Jr., Nico, Addison, and then Reed. Thanks to your Russ reviews. No needs. Would you keep or sell Addison or Reed? Ooh, Nate, what do you think about that?
Let's sell. We got a really strong wide receiver room. I don't know, and we're going to start 10, so we do need a good amount of players. Either one.
Okay.
Either one. Addison, he's number 2 to Justin Jefferson, and I don't know what J.J. McCarthy is just yet, and there's still T.J. Hawkinson there. So, Addison, I've always been an Addison fan, but I think he's, a pretty solid wide receiver 2, but like a low-end wide receiver 2 most likely, like high-end wide receiver 3 at the end of the season. Probably like around like wide receiver 30-ish, which is solid. But with that kind of wide receiver room right there, you can move him. I think you probably get something decent back. And then Jaden Reed, I tried to move him before the draft. I didn't get a lot of people to bite. Kind of felt like they were going to add some wide receiver talent. I didn't think necessarily in the first round, but they did. So I don't think Reed is a super big sell for me, but I'd be willing to listen to offers, especially when I have a really strong wide receiver room here. I mean, you're putting JSN and Marvin Harrison Jr. in your flex right now. You need depth for sure, but I don't know if I want to sell both of them, but I'd be willing to sell either one. Probably more so Addison though.
Okay, perfect. I would agree with that as well. There's something about Jaden Reed I just can't. You know what I mean? I just can't.
Can't get rid of him? Or you?
I wish I knew how to quit you. Is what I would say to Jaden Reed. Go ahead.
He's just so good. He's so good.
Yeah. I just want to share this again, just so you guys know what we're doing this for. A friend of mine, his wife, unfortunately has cancer. So I know that the goal on here is set at 30,000. It's probably going to be significantly more to get her to Germany, lodging, plane tickets, the treatment itself, not covered by insurance. She's 37. So, help out if you can. We'll be donating. Again, Super Chats get first priority here. All of our Super Chat proceeds, which I am keeping track of, by the way, so that they don't get lost. That, as well as our monetary donation, will be done as well. I'll be also personally donating. So please, if you can, if you can't, I understand. Everybody has different financial situations. If you could share, at least to get eyes on it, maybe somebody else can donate. So if you can just hit that share button, if you could spare a few bucks, everything is appreciated. So, yeah, very good. Let's see. What is Slayer Stacker saying? He's responding to Dynasty D saying that nobody wants Aaron Rodgers. They don't want him now. As soon as Rodgers gets there and starts winning, the entire city will love him. I do want to just say, I don't know if that's the case. He didn't win much in New York, and I understand, it's New York. Yeah, they have Breece Hall. They have Garrett Wilson. Also want to comment, Slayer Stacker, I absolutely love your name and your picture. Spill the Blood was the first song I ever learned how to fully play on the guitar back in my guitar playing days. Slayer. Fucking Slayer. June 6th, International Slayer Day, by the way, for all those who celebrate. Dynasty D saying, we want a quarterback. Who? That's the thing. Who? Give us the 101. The problem is, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers overall are bad enough to get the 101.
No, and with Tomlin there, I don't think they're going to be bad enough. That's the thing. Tomlin's going to pull a 9-8 season out of whatever team he has. It could be a terrible team. He's still going to get a 9-8, 8-9 season. Like, they're not going to be a top 5 pick. I don't think they can even really be a top 10 pick as long as he's there. Like, and that's part of the problem. Like Tomlin, he's a good coach, but for some reason they haven't been able to, make it happen where they're better than just good or decent. Yeah. And I think part of that's definitely, they haven't had a quarterback since Big Ben. And even, Big Ben's final seasons, it was kind of tough watching him out there. He didn't have an arm left, which used to be, one of his things. He had a huge arm.
Not for lack of trying, though, to be fair.
They tried. Juju ate it up when Big Ben was out there with no arm. But, so I don't think it's all in Tomlin. They haven't had a quarterback, but I don't know. They're kind of stuck in limbo in that kind of mid area. So they got to either find a way to get a quarterback, which I thought they were on their way to maybe that last year, but then they just let both guys walk. And now they got Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. Like, what are we doing here? Pick a direction.
Look, I get it, Dynasty D. He goes, I'm better, okay? Let go, traded all my favorite players. All I got now is a TJ Watt rookie color rush. I get it, man. This is why I don't buy jerseys until that player is there for a long time, and then it becomes where if you wear it 10 years down the road, you're like, cool. The last Eagles jersey I bought was Jason Kelce jersey after he retired because I could wear that forever. No one's going to wear 62 again for the Eagles. It's a Kelly Green Jason Kelce jersey. I get it. I get it.
Mike, you got to be careful, though, because I was like this close to buying a Justin Tucker jersey last year. Because I thought the same. I was like, well, this jersey is good forever.
I know. And listen, man, Dynasty D, I feel you. I got a Takeo Spikes jersey. I got a Kevin Cobb jersey. I have a John Ritchie jersey. And you're like, who are these people? Exactly. I get it. Exactly. James is finding this quite humorous. James, thank you for tuning in. It looks like he's a bit of a pool shark there based on his profile picture. Dynasty D also saying, I only buy rookies. When I was a kid, I saved up for a powder blue LT jersey, and he got traded to the Jets. Oh, rough.
Yeah,
rough. I know.
I got 3 Ravens jerseys, Mike. I got a Todd Heap jersey. Remember Todd Heap?
I do. I remember Todd Heap and Dennis Pitta.
Dennis Pitta, man. So I got a Todd Heap jersey. I got a Joe Flacco jersey, and I got a Lamar Jackson jersey. So pretty happy with this.
Saying I have a Blair Walsh jersey, and my question for that is, who is Blair Walsh?
He was a kicker for the Vikings.
Oh, okay. Oh, he was.
Yeah, I think he might have missed in the playoffs, actually.
And I think now he's a real estate agent because according to his interest in just listed 6711 Seashore Drive. I'm thrilled to bring this extraordinary home to the market. Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's see. Blair Walsh. I'm pretty sure he missed the field goal. Was it against the Saints? Who was it against?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was. Oh, here we go. It was against the Seahawks. 27-yard field goal. Missed it against the Seahawks, ending the Vikings season 2 years ago.
Brutal. Oh, it's a Seattle Blair Walsh jersey.
Oh.
He says yes.
Double agent.
That's cool though, man. So I get it. I don't really buy a lot of jerseys. My wife wants a Saquon Barkley Kelly Green jersey, which that one will be pretty much cool for a while, to be honest with you. They're hard to find right now, believe it or not. Short of ordering it online, every store we go to, they do not have it. We went shopping for Mother's Day a few weeks back, and they said, she asked the one store that he's like, we got 2 pallets full of Eagles Kelly Green jerseys, and they were gone in like 3 days. These things happen. Nate, we're going to head out of here in about 5 minutes. So if you guys want any questions answered, you got a few minutes left for us. Do you have anything else you want to add to taxi strategy?
No, I think I kind of covered everything I wanted to. I think overall, kind of big picture with taxi strategy is whoever you put on the taxi, you don't want to have to take them off anytime soon. The whole purpose of the taxi is you get to keep them on there for free, basically. And I don't want to lose that spot because if I have to move someone from my taxi spot to my roster, it means I have to cut somebody off my main roster. I want to take advantage of every spot that I have because I think I know what's going to happen, but in reality, I don't know what's going to happen. So the more players I have, the better chance I have of having good players. So if I have to cut players to make room, it means I'm losing a player. I'm losing 2 or 3 players that could have an opportunity to make something happen, to have big games, to be able to, be either fill in pieces or starters. We see guys, break out all the time, and maybe it's just a one season wonder, but it can change your season as a fantasy
James
player.
Robinson.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I want my taxi slots to not have to go to my roster in the first year. Now, if we're into their second season, I'm fine with pulling them up. Maybe you do that before the season, but I want to maximize my taxi slots at all times.
The only thing I can add to that is you also have to know your league's policy on taxi, because not every league is the same. Some, it gets locked and you can pull guys up, but you can't put anyone back down. I personally love leagues that allow you to use the taxi squad as essentially an addition, extension of your roster, where you can kind of have guys come and go throughout the season. I guess that's just me being a little selfish, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't mind throwing a I don't mind throwing a quarterback on there that I think has got to wait a while. Like you said before, Shador Sanders, Xavier Strepo, those are 2 good ones. Even a guy like Nick Nash down in Atlanta, he's going to face some long odds, but there's an
Yeah.
opportunity for him for sure at some point. I just don't think it's going to be early, and you don't want to have him just sitting on your roster for a while. Tight ends, because a lot of tight ends take a while to bloom. And just, you know what? The taxi squad is a good place for guys that you liked pre-draft that didn't get the draft capital
Yep.
that you thought they would. And maybe at some point, a few things need to go right and they get a chance. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys we like, guys we believe in.
Yeah, your guys. So let's see. Taxi should match the amount of rounds in the rookie draft, in my opinion. Okay. So if you got a 4-round rookie draft, have 4 taxi spots. Yeah. Hey, James has a question. And Dynasty, I don't disagree with that. Personally, I think more taxi squad or taxi spots, the better. That's just me. Because I'm selfish like that. James has a question, though, before we head out. I'm looking for a running back. Nate, this is going to be right up your alley here. Who's a great target for a 2026 mid-second?
Mid-second.
Yeah, that's a good question. Who do we got in 2026? Got a duo of Penn State running backs, Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton. Who's the kid in Texas?
Oh, I think it was what he's saying is he wants to trade a mid-second for a running back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think DeAndre Swift is a pretty good one. That one just popped up. I know you get
really
excited.
About rookies.
I would have been much more excited to answer that question than answering who to trade for. I think Swift is a good one. If we're really competitive, I think Alvin Kamara is still a decent one.
Yeah.
That offense probably isn't going to be super great, but they're going to have to rely on Kamara. He's going to be that offense most likely. I also like David Montgomery. If we can move for him, I think that's probably not enough to get David Montgomery straight up, but people are excited about Gibbs, and Montgomery's going to be 28 by the start of the season. So people might be sleeping on him because I think he's going to be good for 2 years. Maybe not an RB1, but solid. James Conner, always a good buy for cheap. Maybe even Aaron Jones.
Another guy who I think you could probably get almost cheaper than that, probably Brian Robinson Jr. Did you say that?
I did not, but
Yeah.
you can get him by that price. Possibly.
You think so?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe. Probably not.
What about Javonte Williams? Are you taking a shot on him?
I don't want to spend this on Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you could get him for cheaper than this, like if you get him for like the 301, would you take a shot on him? I think he's going to get the first crack at starting in Dallas.
I think he's going to get the first crack too, but I as much as I love Javonte Williams, look, Javonte Williams last year, where is it? 3.7 yards per attempt. The year before that, 3.6 yards per attempt. So hasn't been over 4 yards per attempt since tearing his ACL. I know the first year is kind of a wash, but he didn't do anything last year either, which is when I kind of expected him to come back. So, I mean, he probably gets the first shot at it, but I'm not holding my breath, that's for sure. I give a future third. I don't know about the 301.
Did you say Aaron Jones?
I did say Aaron Jones.
You did. Okay. Yeah, he could be a good one as well. So, all right.
If you get Aaron Jones, it's a good idea to go get Jordan Mason too. I think the two of them will both be relevant.
Yeah, I think so too. Zach was hyping up Jordan Mason a while back, which
I think is a good compliment over there with how he runs to Aaron Jones, especially with Aaron Jones getting older. I think both of them will get enough snaps.
Yeah, I think Jordan Mason's a pretty good running back too. So there's always a pathway for him to be the guy next year, maybe, if the Vikings choose to invest their draft capital elsewhere.
Possibly.
We still don't know what J.J. McCarthy is.
I would love to see a guy like Nicholas Singleton with the Vikings or something like that.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting for sure. We'll see. We'll talk about 2026 rookies another time.
Oh, we'll get to it. Don't worry.
I got excited. I got really excited.
Hey, I have an article coming up on our website when it goes live in the coming month, the couple weeks coming up here soon. When the Rewind website goes live, I have a series I've already started on 2026 positional top fives.
Boom.
Get ready.
Yeah. By the way, having a website built, a lot more than I anticipated it would be. We'll zoom in for the last second here. So everybody, until we head on out of here, just going to share this one last time. If you have the means to donate, please consider donating it. It's a friend of mine's wife. She's got some unfortunate circumstances going on. It's got to go abroad for treatment. So if you can, please donate. If not, I'm going to drop this live stream in our RSS feed. The link to the GoFundMe will be in there. I'll make sure that underneath, if you go back and watch this live, I will put the link in the comments or the description of the live stream. I'll make sure it's there. It's also on our Facebook page. It's on there on some of the posts, and it's on our Twitter/X as well. So that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. We plan on doing more live streams in the future.
Yeah.
May not always be on the weekend, maybe during the week, something like that. Ian, thank you. Yes, thank you. And I hope we are raising some as well. Obviously everybody different financial situations. So, hey, $5 is better than no bucks is the way I see it. So that's all we got. Nate, you got any closing thoughts before we head out?
I'm already ready for football to start back up. I got to watch some UFL this weekend, which was great. There was a really good game between 2 1-6 teams that went into overtime, which overtime for the UFL is really interesting. It's kind of like a penalty shootout. You get 3 2-point conversions, and if after 3 you guys are still tied, then it goes into sudden death. It's very interesting. Don't love it, to be honest, but still it was fun to watch. And I'm just I'm ready for football. I'm ready for college football. I'm ready for pro football. Get me through summer.
Yeah,
because the Orioles suck right now. Orioles suck, and it's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky I got a minor league baseball team 10 minutes from my house. Go Iron Pigs! Woo. So if anyone would like to come to an Iron Pigs game with me, DM me. If you're in the Lehigh Valley area, do that. But I'm not getting a seat. I'm just getting general admission and walking around.
Yeah,
because I end up doing that most of the time anyway, so I might as well save the money. So yep, no closing thoughts for me. Donate if you can. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you want more advice, patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind. You can get a week for free. It's on me. And until our next live stream, everybody, for Nate, I'm Mike. Thank you for watching. And if you're following along later in our RSS feed, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time, everybody.